This video is on solving a system of equations algebraically by the elimination or addition method. Remember, the solution to a system of equations is an ordered pair. So when we solve using algebra, our goal is still the same. It's a point. It's going to have an x value and a y value. So I'd like to start with example number 1 here. 2x plus 3y equals 7, and 5x minus 3y equals, and this one I should actually have meant to have this as 7 as well. Alright, so let's take a look at these. The first step is to make sure your equations are lined up. Now what I mean by that is that the x terms are in the same position, the y terms are in the same position, even the equal signs are in the same position in the equation, and then the plain numbers. It doesn't really matter what order those come in, just that both equations have everything in the same position, lined up. Next, step 2, look to see if you can eliminate, get rid of, the x or the y just by adding those two equations together. Now I don't mean adding the x and the y together. I mean looking at the column, the x column. If I add those together, in this case I get 7x. But look what happens when I add my y column together. 3y plus negative 3y is 0. And so those are eliminated, which is our point. We're looking to eliminate either the x or the y. You have to keep going. Your equal sign stays in the same place. 7 plus 7 is 14. And because we're adding, this method is sometimes called the addition method. So now that we have 7x equals 14, we have this new equation. There's only one variable. We can solve it by dividing both sides by 7, just the way you always have. And when you do that, you get x is equal to 2. So far, I have an ordered pair that has an x value of 2, but look, I need the y value. And so the way that we're going to get the y value is to plug our answer for x back into either one of the original equations to find the missing coordinate. In this case, it's the y that's missing. So on this page, I've shown you the first equation, the original equation. It was 2x plus 3y equals 7. But look, instead of where the x is here, this was the x, but I already figured out what x was equal to. It's 2. And so I substituted that in using parentheses. Now you solve 2 times 2, that's 4. You still have the rest of the equation. Now you have an equation with just a y in it. You can subtract 4 from both sides. This goes away. You have 3y equals 3. Divide both sides by 3. These are all the same kind of steps you would solve for any equation. And you get y is equal to 1. And so this 1 gets plugged in for the y value. Remember, your answer is an ordered pair. First x, then y. We found x a minute ago on the last screen. It was 2, so we put it in the x position. Then we plugged x in, we found y, and we took that number and put it in the y position in the ordered pair. This point, 2, 1, is a solution to this particular system of equations. What does that mean if you were graphing these equations? What would that point mean to you? Do you remember? I hope you said that on a graph, the solution is the point of intersection. It's where the two graphs cross. The solution to a system is the point of intersection. Let's do another one together. Try to look at your notes and say what to do next, even before I say it. So I see everything's lined up. That's my first step. And I'm looking and I see if I add these together, they're going to make 0 and cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I don't need to write 0. What do I get when I add the y column together? I get 13y equals, stays in the same place. 10 plus negative 49 is negative 39. What do you do next? Divide by 13. Don't lose that negative. You get y is equal to negative 3. Okay, so I'm going to get partially there. Remember, x comes first and then y in my solution. So y is negative 3. I've just got to figure out what x is. So what do I do with my first answer to figure out the missing coordinate? Well, you're going to plug it in. Y is negative 3. So go into one of the original equations and plug it in for y in this case. So negative 4x plus 5, anytime you plug in, use parentheses, equals 10. All right, 5 times negative 3, that's negative 15. You can add 15 to both sides. We have negative 4x. These cancel. Equals 25. What do you do next? Divide by negative 4, both sides. And I get x equals, and now I get a fraction. And it's okay to get a fraction. 25 over negative 4 is x. And notice the x is what I was looking for. 25 over negative 4. So my ordered pair, 25 over negative 4 comma negative 3, is the point of intersection on the graph of these two equations. It is the solution to the system. Pause the video and you try this one on your own. All right, take a look. How did you do? So make sure you follow now. You're adding down. We get 3x equals 30. We solve for x. We get 10. So now you have 10 in your ordered pair for x. You don't know this negative 1 that's in red yet. You're taking 10, you're plugging it in to the original. And so this is what you're writing. 10 minus y equals 11. Because we know x now. We don't have to put an x there. You solve this for y, minus 10 to both sides. You get negative y equals 1. I'm guessing that some of you lost that negative. Be very careful. Remember that when there's no number in front of a letter, we can use a 1 there. It's understood to be a 1. So in this case, negative 1 gets divided away, and y is equal to negative 1. The point 10, negative 1 is the point of intersection of these two lines if they were graphed. It is the solution to the system of equations. I want to do one more quick example set up, and I'd like you to finish this in class. We're going to check these together. So because this is a word problem, I want to review how you will set this up. The question says to find the value of two numbers if their sum is 12 and their difference is 4. So the important information, highlight, sum is 12, difference is 4. This means they're going to add up to 12, right? And what does difference of 4 mean? They're going to subtract to equal 4. Two different numbers now, so I'm going to have an x and a y. This tells me that if I add x and y, I'm going to get 12. This tells me if I subtract x and y, I'm going to get 4. So now you need to go ahead and solve this system of equations. Same steps as we did before. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Okay, I'm going to take the time to talk about this one in class, but check and see if you got the right x and y. My ordered pair, my solution to my system, is the 0.84. Did you get the same thing? I hope so. I want you to try this one on your own and have it ready for me when you come to class. Make sure that you set it up carefully, just like we did the last problem, and then you solve, first for one variable, then the other. Good luck.